there, welcome back to this Ultimate Decades playthrough. We are currently in 1301. We ended last year with one of our side households having a baby and finding out that one of our main household Sims, not the heir but his mom, was pregnant. This year, right off the bat, we're going to be doing a birthday roll for our Gen 0 Sim, Hugo, and see how many elder years he has left to live, since he survived the initial adulthood. So, swapping out, he has 8 years left with us. And the family just spending the very early morning hours talking, starting their day. Sibyl still the primary chef in the house. Chit-chatting with her father-in-law. And deciding just to work out for fun. Okay, skipping ahead a little bit. Apparently that was way too early in the day for everyone. So a couple of them took naps before finishing up breakfast and tidying a bit. Had a little bit of variety for this meal. You may have noticed that they have started off with no animals whatsoever, since they are starting completely from scratch. Oh, and it looks like his sister, Osbert's sister, Alma, came over. She just lost her baby, her first child, and it seems she went to her father to get some advice, maybe comfort on how to handle her husband afterwards. Of course, our Gen 1 Sims are over there trying to have a baby themselves. His sister Beatrix also came to visit, Ida greeting her daughter, checking in. It looks like things aren't necessarily going wonderfully over at the Wood household, but a little family time can help with that. Yep. And then Alma's husband Milo also came over. It is actually very sweet to me how well all the members of this family get along. And they tend to lean towards having jokester dynamics. So there's a lot of pranks and laughter, even when they're not so happy. Oh, his youngest daughter. Ida is not good at archery. I would think Sibyl's trying to be supportive, let Alma know that she believes in them. Milo is supporting his wife. She's still having a really rough time processing her grief. And of course, while they're having more serious considerate conversation. Beatrice and Osbert are playing around in the background. Yeah, the two sisters coming inside for a little bit, probably some respite from the outdoor sun. Beatrice comforting Alma. That's the general theme of everyone around her. I feel like Beatrice probably was just looking up in her notebook little remedies or tricks to help with their next pregnancy, since it seems as though she really wants to have a child. Aww. And then she can let her sorrow about losing her niece be told to Sibyl without burdening Alma. She constantly has the most animated stories to tell everyone. Finally, end of the day, everyone's walking home. So her brother-in-law Milo decided to escort Beatrice across the way. Did he have to stop and play music? Probably. He seems very satisfied. All right, looks like Beatrice made it home, so he's headed off. Her husband Arnold was there, ready to welcome her home. Aww. Alma finally making her way back to home. She and Milo live further away from everybody, but he was there to immediately be pranked. Even that moment of levity couldn't really help her, though. She's just so sad. But at least they still love each other and can lean on one another. Where are they headed? I don't know. Off through the woods in the middle of the night. But the next morning, Sibyl's the last one up, and she finally gets to cooking a meal for everybody. I'm sure they all started doing their chores on an empty stomach. Or, instead of chores, everyone is just meandering around the farm. These two really do just adore one another. After breakfast, everyone headed to the church for Easter. And there are some very clear glitches with where everyone sits on these benches, but we're just going to pretend they're on the bench. I don't think you're supposed to be making out in the church. Aw. Milo being sweet with Alma. Not to be outdone by his brother-in-law, Osbert also gave Sibyl a flower. Other members of the community also come and go for the Easter service. Our family was clearly here just very early. We're gonna say that's a Easter praise. And they are singing together at the entrance. Poor Ida just can't last all day. Hugo, go check your wife. She's asleep in church. Osbert talking with one of their neighbors, Miss May. You're okay, Alma. No going to the bathroom in church. Sibyl's so excited to be part of the conversation. And both of them thinking Osbert is hilarious. Oh, these two are just up to no good. I know that you're not inside the church anymore, but that doesn't mean you can be sneaking around.
Larkum Hana, Malspec Boy.
Kajun. Aldra Amaga Jagorg.
Jongi?
Yes.
Well, their excitement carried them away.
Sturm Jasa, Zwick.
Shabini. Shabibwa. Kapim. Befanga. Penosa Galops.
Back at home, Ida preparing some food. Believe she's making everyone just some boiled eggs for a snack.
Oh.
Getting ready to hopefully have a noisy house with another infant crawling and crying everywhere. It's been quiet for a long time for her. All her children are adults. Sibyl and Hugo going to get some water for the household. That didn't look romantic, but clearly they were very excited. And they had a really good time. Back at the Mannering household, Alma is just not holding herself together anymore. It was easier when she was outside of the house where she had just lost Isis, but at least she has Milo. He knows just what to say to help his wife. The next day, everyone woke up at their normal time except for Ida. She's getting at the very end of her pregnancy, so a little bit of sleeping in. No one's going to give her a hard time. Going over to see what her son and Sibyl are chit-chatting about. Though it feels a little bit like they're judging her cooking. Let's see. Come on, Ida. She just made a whole meal. You don't need to be pulling ingredients out. Or did she make only herself? No. See, she did really well. That was the first excellent quality meal in this household for them to experience together. So once everyone else finally has some food, time to get on with their day. Quick kiss before sending him out to do work. These crops will not harvest themselves. Osbert is not the most systematic of gardeners, but he gets it done. Yep. After seeing them at church, Miss May just wanted to come over and hang out and see how everyone's getting settled in. It looks like Beatrice is pregnant, so that's exciting news. Oh. That wasn't enough for Ida. But Miss May came over, and while they're chit-chatting, talking about the community, what's happening around the farm, in the background it looks like Milo is doing some woodworking, Beatrice is talking, and Sibyl has just decided to sink to the ground and start knitting. That is definitely her preferred hobby at this point in time. Well, it looks like she got curious watching and is going to give it a shot herself at woodworking. With Milo giving some input. Hugo handling the bees, making sure they have honey available. Osbert just not being able to stay away from his wife. And always living in slight terror of whatever they see out in the forest. Right, so at this point, we have baby being born. Ida had baby Tobias. She rolled a 19 and was able to live. And then Tobias rolled a 6, so he makes it.
Green.
We went ahead and did his infant roll. There was a day in here, I just don't have footage. So he survived his infant role, and this is him as a baby. Everyone's so excited to have a little one in the house. Looks like Sibyl is hungry. Tobias likes waking up. That's gonna make life easier. That doesn't look like hunger, though.
Yumba Chupin?
Oh. Probably not sick. Is she pregnant? I don't know. She is not comfortable. Yep. Back to her normal activity of cooking. Looks like everyone else is asleep, but she's working away in the kitchen. So I will, in the future, have the ability to not have disposable diapers and also get a override for the placemat. But at this point, I did not have those installed. But I imagine she's just staring at the baby, wondering if she's about to have that in future for herself. Once everyone else is awake and getting their meal, she decided to go join the adults and have conversation with them. And everyone is still celebrating today.
Swingle zips, swingle zips, swingle bazilorn.
Peggy Bougie.
Oh no. Ida, are you okay?
Swingle zips.
Time to get the next crops all set up. And yes, Hugo does like gardening. So far, Osbert has done a lot of it, but I'm sure historically he's done a lot of gardening in his life. It's nice to see the two of them spending time together in the field. In the house, Ida is spending quality time with Tobias, trying to remember how to do all the new parenting activities since it's been so long. And interrupted by the trader Jacques showing up, as well as, I believe this is Bella Goth. Hugo hurrying into the house to let her know that who's at the door. Sibyl greeting the trader. This is actually a visit from him they're very excited about, since they have crops to sell and they have goods that they have prepared for him this time. They're looking forward to having a little bit of money and hopefully starting to improve their situation. They've been getting by just basically subsistence, farming, and not really making any progress toward growth or taxes or anything. Looks like Osbert got called over to handle trading. Hugo and Ida just enjoying time with their baby, who desperately needs a bath. And Sibyl just interrupting them hanging out. But they did sell enough to get a couple little chickens. Sibyl taking it upon herself to start the chicken care, making sure that they're fed.
Anuramalu. Ayabo.
Aw, and Beatrice had her first baby, Maximilian.
Sabini.
She rolled a 4, so she's safe. Max's newborn roll was an 8, so he is safe. We're going to go ahead and do his infant roll, 10. And for the crops, which are going to start off a new season next year, we're going to go ahead and roll, and we got a 2. So next year, we're going to have great soil. And to end everything off, it looks like we do have the exciting confirmation that Sibyl is pregnant, and we will be expecting to see our first Gen 2 for our heir next year. See you then.